3-2 pitch. Deep to left. It's high. It's far and gone.
Too little, too late. And here's more thoughts about this game after a word from our sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that's going to be a double play ball. The throw to first, and it's in time, and the ball game is over. The Mariners will go down and lose the series. The Mariners had at least a fighting chance, but they will go down, and now they are dropping to 4-8. George Kirby, obviously, with the loss. Bassett with the win. And
Too
little, too late. Mariners-like ending. And it was like a really nice exit velo of a hit. It just went right to the second baseman. They're just not placing the ball correctly. And next thing you know, it's a game-ending double play.
Yep.
The only thing I can say is at least these games have been slightly-ish competitive compared to the Brewers' final game. I mean, aside from that, the Mariners have been at least somewhat in it in most of those games.
Well, so yesterday the Mariners were basically a no-show until the eighth inning when they score their 2 runs off 2 solo shots, and then tonight it's more of the same. They get their runs via the home run, but again that didn't come until the 6th, 7th inning, and you're in a situation where you're getting a gift, like the baseball gods opened up. The heavens opened up and dropped Chris Bassett in your lap, who literally struggled in his first 2 appearances, and tonight he actually didn't look great to me. And it was just a gift, a golden opportunity, and they couldn't do anything against Bassett until the 7th.
It is very unfortunate. And in the early parts of the game, there was opportunities, and Julio especially had those chances, and it just didn't happen. Now let's take a look at the scoring summary. So first in the 3rd inning, George Springer singled, and that allowed Varsho to score. And I think that was the one where Varsho played that mind trick on George Kirby, and I think that did lead to that balk because he was just messing with his head so much that George Kirby tried to pick him off, but then they called that a balk. And then the 3rd inning, once again, Bo Bichette hit that home run to make it 3-0. And I think it was really the 3rd inning that really killed them. I think it was Varsho that really killed the momentum because that balk really did some damage.
Well, two straight nights where the Blue Jays capitalized in the 3rd inning. Kirby, I thought Kirby was fine in the first couple innings, and then really it was the it wasn't really the balk, but it was the error by Polanco that extended. That extended the inning, and then again in the next inning, he gets out of the 3rd with 3, but in the next inning on a stolen base, and which should have been an out because that ball was perfectly placed, and he couldn't handle that ball from Raleigh, which allowed him to get in scoring position. And then the very next pitch, it was a line drive into center field. So the errors again came to rear their ugly head in a situation where, had both of those not happened, maybe they don't score 5, maybe it's 3. And, when Haniger pokes that out, maybe we're dealing with a tie game.
Yeah, but unfortunately with possibly a depleted bullpen. And then going into the 4th inning was pretty much just runs adding up. It was a double to right, which scored Biggio, and then Springer with another RBI. So Springer basically Houstoned up the Mariners to make it 5-0, and then Canzone and Haniger hit the home runs to make it 5-3. And there was actually an opportunity in the 9th inning, except Josh Rojas hit it into a double play, so J.P. Crawford didn't get his opportunities. And now looking at the box score, J.P. Crawford was brutal again, 0 for 3. Julio at least was 1 for 3, got at least a hit, a nice hit to right field. Polanco was 1 for 3, but his defense really was really just terrible.
Suspect.
And then Ty France went 0 for 4. So much for moving him up, because I remember there were fans last night calling Scott Service to move him up. But I was like, maybe up to the 5 spot. So I wasn't ready for him to be the cleanup. But then because I think Mitch Haniger works well as a cleanup guy. But Mitch Haniger went 1 for 3. Garver, I think, needs a day off. I think you got to give the day off to Garver. Maybe put Cal Raleigh as a DH or Luke Raley as a DH, because Garver right now is just not doing anything right now.
Well, when you look at go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, got to finish it. Cal Raleigh's 0 for 4, had a tough game, which is very not Cal Raleigh of him, especially in Toronto. Canzone at least hit the home run, and he's actually statistically the 3rd or 4th best player on the Mariners right now. Luke Raley had a pinch run, so whatever. And then Josh Rojas at least rebounded to be 2 for 4.
Yeah.
But the ones that stood out, a lot of 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, and an 0 for 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so Julio and Polanco get their little dinky seeing eye singles, but really for the most part, when you look at 1 through 6, you're looking at 3 for 20, and again, this is the second straight game where you really need production from that middle of your order. I mean, this is the spot in the order where your run production is supposed to come from. JP, his inability to get on base on any level, not a walk, not a bunt, not nothing. And so that really puts the onus on a guy like Julio Rodriguez to get on base. Yeah, he did get a base hit, but he also grounded into a double play that killed an inning. Ty France 0 for 4. He moves up. He is not able to get anything going. Mitch Haniger didn't get anything going until he hit the 2-run homer. Garver and Raleigh, 0 first tonight. For the most part, compared to Toronto, when you look at what Toronto was doing in the middle of the lineup, I mean, Bichette hits the 2-run home run early. Justin Turner was 2 for 3. Cavan Biggio was 2 for 3. And so you're seeing production in the middle of that order, which is absolutely necessary, which is, I got to be honest with you, which was the difference in the game. The ability to hit in the clutch, the ability to hang in there and wait for your pitch. And, unfortunately, the Mariners weren't able to do it against a guy who they've had success against before in the past. So you can chalk it up to whatever you want, but these are the type of games where you can erase. I guess you can call it the bad vibes, and these are the get quick games, the get right games, and it just continues.
It really does, because right now the Mariners are 4-8, and I know that we're not supposed to panic because we're 12 games in, but if it just keeps trending and continuing, because here's the thing, here is the reality for the Mariners, as I am going to check their schedule right now. And also while I'm doing that, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification, and also donate to this channel as well, as we would like, and because of the bad ownership of John Stanton, I would love to take away his revenue. So let's keep making that happen. But looking at the schedule, after Toronto, and hopefully the Mariners actually win that game and not lose, because you have Gilbert, so you do like the odds. But then you're playing against Chicago, managed by Craig Counsell with the funny batting stance. Then you got David Bell and the Reds, and Reds are not going to be an easy camper either, because they're a heavily talented team with De La Cruz and crew. So this is the game you must win tomorrow, and you maybe want to. I don't think they get a series win until the Colorado series. I'm thinking at least the Reds. At least the Reds, I would think. No, actually no, because Mariners typically don't do well on bobblehead nights. They really don't. And now they turn it to bobblehead week, so I think that's going to make it worse. So you know what? You're right. I mean, if it weren't for the bobbleheads, I'd like my confidence, but I think we have a bobblehead curse or something.
But this is how bad the schedule was for the Mariners in
April.
To be honest with you, it could have gone well with the first 2 series of the season, because Boston is a mediocre team. I have a feeling they'll be somewhere around 500 when it's all said and done, maybe a little less than that. And then Cleveland, who knows what Cleveland's going to end up being now that they lose Bieber, and that team may or may not be, but that was a golden opportunity. But Milwaukee's a very good team. Toronto's a good team. Then you get the Cubs for 3. You get Cincinnati for 3. And then the only reprieve really is that Colorado series on the road. But then after that, they got 3 in Texas, which is not going to be a picnic. That's been a house of pain for the Mariners. Then they come home against 3 against Arizona, and then 3 against Atlanta to close out the month. Like, realistically speaking, I would pretty much like to think that would probably be a series win. But outside of that, you're looking at what 1, 2, 3, 4 more wins the rest of the month.
Hey, it's not looking good. And then
Not looking good.
And don't forget, not only are you going to play, you're going to play an Eugenio Suarez who's playing a lot better, and of course familiar with T-Mobile Park. And you have a motivated Jared Kelenic who definitely wants. Yeah. He would love to have all the at bats against the Mariners. I think even if the manager even thinks to bench Jared Kelenic for those games, I think Kelenics going to force his way to play those games, because my prediction too for that series is Jared Kelenic hits a home run in that series for sure.
Yeah, he probably gets a walk off. So, Mr. Sticky 005 asked, do you think the back problems that put Garver on the IL are still affecting him? No, because number one, he wasn't on the IL. He just took a couple days off. And I would like to think that if he wasn't 100%, the Mariners wouldn't have put him back in the lineup. You know how the Mariners are with injuries. They will make sure that you are pain-free before they insert you back in the lineup, whether you're a pitcher or a rotational player. So, no, I think Garver's fine and Garver's healthy. Right now, teams know how to attack the Mariners, and it is not, you're not going to see fastballs. And if you do, it's going to be in on the hands or it's going to be up. As we saw today, Julio Rodriguez chasing fastballs that are high up in the zone that he can't catch. But for the most part, in order for Mitch Garver to be effective, he has to get extended on his swing, and he has to be able to barrel pitches up. A couple days ago, we saw him get into a double. So you see glimpses of what Garver's going to be able to do. But right now, it's not just Garver, it's everybody in the lineup right now.
Yeah, everyone's got to step up. And at least if J.P. Crawford was at least playing 2022 J.P. Crawford when he wasn't that great, Mariners are at least close to a 500 team.
Yeah, I would think I would like to think that as well too. I mean, with the ability to get on base and the ability to to be somewhat of a dynamic base runner, all it does is help Julio Rodriguez, because you have to remember that Julio Rodriguez is a better hitter with runners on base than he is when there's nothing on. And I think that Julio has backed that up, and I think the numbers will back that up as well too. So you're in a situation where you're being asked, if you're Julio Rodriguez and you're being asked to carry the load, and he's the type of player that puts so much pressure on himself to succeed that this is what we saw last year at the beginning of last year. He just wants to be that guy so bad that he will literally swing for the fences every single time he comes up to the plate.
Yeah, hopefully we definitely need runners on base for Julio Rodriguez, which is why there's been some talk on the social media where maybe they're suggesting that Julio is the number 3 guy and Polanco's the number 2 guy, and statistics actually back it up. And I actually do have the numbers pulled up for how they do. So Julio Rodriguez as a number 2 guy, he bats .251. Granted, he hits most of the home runs, but that's in 107 games. And now as a number 3 hitter, he has 9 home runs in 43 games, 30 RBIs, and a .328 batting average. So just alone right there, that backs it up. And Polanco, as a number 2 guy, he hits Let's take a look. He's a 284 hitter as a 2 guy.
Yeah,
and he was actually number 2 in Minnesota.
And it's this weird notion that whether it's Scott Service or Jerry Dipoto, because if you remember when Julio came up, he was the leadoff guy, and it made absolutely no sense to put that type of production. The only reason why they were putting him as a leadoff guy is because statistically you're going to get that extra at bat. But can you imagine, the Mariners being bullish on keeping Ken Griffey Jr. as like a 2 hitter, you know what I mean, or a 5 hitter? It just it's to me, it's absolutely ridiculous that Julio is not batting third in the order. He is perfect and tailor made for the 3-hole. With Polanco at second, hitting second up in front of him instead of hitting him back of him, I actually think it would make all the difference in the world.
It really does. And looks like we have a little conversation with Scott Service. I'm kind of curious what he's saying at this point.
Kevin Kirby in the chat is asking you about the Mariners signing Zach Greinke. I don't see that happening at all.
No,
because you have to remember they just picked up Dallas Keuchel, who had his first start down in Tacoma, and he was absolutely brilliant in his one start down there. So that's probably your in case of emergency starter break glass would be Dallas Keuchel.
Exactly. I'm trying to see what Scott Service is trying to say. He basically, you're not going to get much out of him. He says
it's the same thing he says every game.
He's like, I have a good club. We're aware of it. We'll fix it. Like I remember it bothered me. I remember in game 1 of the division series where he humiliates himself by putting in Robbie Ray. He goes, "Yep, it's all right. These things happen." It's like, no, you should probably talk about how much you made a mistake. and
by the way, that was when he lost me for good. Was when he brought Robbie Ray out of the bullpen. And see, the thing about it is he loves playing the matchup lefty. Unfortunately, Yordan Alvarez crushes left-handed pitching, and Robbie Ray is like, I don't care what anybody said. I never thought Robbie Ray was that guy. You know what I mean? Like I like on a good team, Robbie Ray is a 2, most likely a 3. Same thing with Luis Castillo. It's overhyping these guys, and especially when you're talking about a starter who never comes out of the bullpen in a tight situation like that, and you're bringing him out of the bullpen as in a playoff game. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully, and before we get to the conclusion part, and we got Kevin Kirby with the whole John McLaren thing. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do a John McLaren impression after we end this post game.
John McLaren was a badass. I do. He he had a bad team, but I'll tell you what, man, McLaren was one of those old school dudes that was all about accountability.
He was. He just happened to be on a horrible team.
Yeah, it was a
bad
team.
Here is the matchup. We got Logan Gilbert against former Mariner Yusei Kikuchi. Kikuchi's off to a good start this season.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Mariners at least know how to hit off of him, as there are former teammates of his. So, and Logan Gilbert.
I guess it all depends on what Yusei Kikuchi you're going to get, right? Because Kikuchi has been known to get tore up from time to time. Granted, he has started the season off pretty decently, but that being said, he does have a tendency to leave things out over the plate, and you can take advantage of Kikuchi if he's not accurate. So, but again, knowing what this offense is looking like right now,
it's not looking good. Like you could have the worst player or worst pitcher in Major League Baseball, and you may still have this problem. Very much
Logan is going to have to be perfect tomorrow, and it's unfortunate to say it because runs are going to be at a premium, and I would probably think we're going to see more of the same, where we're not going to see a run being scored until after the 5th inning.
Well, hopefully the Mariners can figure it out, and I'm going to now, before we end this post-game show, because someone brought up John McLaren, and at the timing that we're in, I think I'm going to do my John McLaren impression.
Bring Bring
It's
it.
gonna be all censored, of course, because I don't want to swear too much. But let me start with something right here. Let me try something different. We're playing our butts off every day, and we got nothing to show for it. I'm tired of freaking losing. I'm tired of losing with this freaking team, and we can't, and that's just the way it is. We can't really feel sorry for ourselves. I'm tired of freaking losing, and we gotta freaking buckle up and get after it. Tired of, losing. Tired of this, and that's it. That's my John McLaren impression. Obviously, I didn't have a script to work with because I didn't really memorize it. Thank you for watching the post game. And most importantly, thank you for watching all of my Mariners live stream shows, going through the pain of Mariners season. And also, here are some videos of the last Mariners games, and here's a video of how I feel about Scott's service. And thanks for watching.